Dun, 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 dun.
That's Indian.
Is that good?
It's Indian.
Super Bowl was yesterday. Did you guys watch it? Oh,
What a
you
letdown.
watched it?
I watched the first half.
Yeah.
I hate
Yeah.
to say it, but I
I didn't care either way, but I wanted it to be
I
a
just
tight
wanted to
game.
make sure Philly had it handled, and then I went to bed.
Being a Patriots fan, were you thinking of the comeback?
A little bit, but I wasn't too worried. There's only one Tom Brady.
Yeah.
And the second half, we found out very quickly there wasn't going to be any crazy comeback, right?
I'm happy with the result. When I woke up this morning, I said, all right, good.
Well rested,
Yeah.
less stress.
So we got the
stress.
proverbial.
You almost got it.
Did he look up the word before coming in?
The start of the spring market
You
starts
smart
today,
words.
right? What are we thinking about? Inventory, interest rates.
It is the wild west.
Yeah,
again.
it's tough right now, right?
It's tough.
More of 2024.
I'll tell you right now, sellers are saying, what do you think, Dan? Should we wait to put it on the market till spring, or should we get it on as soon as possible?
Yeah.
Because it's the wild west.
We don't want to scare buyers away, but you have to write very attractive offers.
Well, that's
More
exactly
of
the conversation that I have with buyers. First thing you say is, listen, guys, this is the deal. This is what you can expect during your buyer consultation.
Sure.
I don't want to scare you because it's definitely doable, but we have to take the right steps to submit the strongest possible offer.
Yeah, you definitely want to be educated as a buyer in today's market.
Oh, you have to be.
Yeah, but limited inventory, so if you're listing your property, you look like the gold mine in the crew.
We're seeing a slight uptick a little bit, especially we were looking at multifamilies over the weekend. A few popped on. The traffic was insane.
Yeah.
Definitely still multiple offers going on. I think interest rates hovering around 7. Thank goodness we're back down for the right buyer around 6.5%.
You think we're going to see lower, less sub 6?
I don't think sub 6 this year. Maybe 6.25.
Sub 6, no, but getting closer to 6, I think so.
Yeah, I think so too.
In a few months.
I would love to see it under 6.
But last week, interest rates did go down a little bit, so
Yeah.
that was nice for buyers that locked in.
But I think that, between winter, holidays, pre-Super Bowl, New Year's,
Just pent up
and
buyer
interest
demand.
rates, I think sellers were still holding off.
The amount of buyers in the market is out of control. Zillow had a new, what was the heat index?
The heat index, right?
Yeah.
Hartford County, number 4 county in the country.
Yeah,
For,
top
for
10.
Hottest
I
markets.
think Bridgeport was another
Top,
one, too.
yes.
Bridgeport was number
Hottest
8 or
sellers
something.
market.
Hottest sellers market, yeah.
Right.
Where the sellers have the most power.
So great for Connecticut sellers, still tough for Connecticut buyers. January
getting
stats
better.
are out. Some surrounding towns, month over month, year over year. We got median sale price for Newington's at 330. Days on market only 26 days, and there's only 3/4 of a month of supply, which is absolutely ridiculous. A normal market is between 5 and 6 months of supply.
I'll go with West Hartford. Median sale price is $500,000. Days on market is 24 days on market, so average. And month of supply is,
Under 1.
it's under 1.85. So
That's
everything
crazy.
that you see on the market in less than a month,
Gone.
gone.
Right.
Gone.
Weathersfield is a little bit better, I guess. Median sales price $395. That's up almost 12% year over year. That's a big jump. 18 days on market, and then the months of supply is 1.17. So still pretty crazy numbers.
Sure.
Months of supply, and a healthy market should be somewhere between 5
to
and
6.
6 months, right?
Sure. Yep.
And we're looking at less than a month. And then you also mentioned how it was up 11.8%. I mean,
January, yeah, yep.
it doesn't really help when it's
January,
limited
January.
inventory, so less properties being sold, so that number can fluctuate.
Median sale price in Rocky Hill, competing with West Hartford,
Yeah.
505. Only 20 days average on the market to sell a home, and just slightly over 1 month of supply, 1.29. Currently, January sales, only 6 properties sold in Rocky Hill, which
It's
is
interesting
crazy.
because I think towards the end of 24 we started to see inventory climb. The months of supply was at 2 in some areas, 3 even in
Yeah.
some towns.
Yeah, we're
right?
getting back up there.
So we're kind of creeping up, but I think a lot of that had to do with the elections in
Big
November.
time.
People were saying interest rates are going to come down. They never did. People kind of waited. The buyers were just waiting to see what was going to happen.
Sure.
And then all of a sudden January came, election was over, and buyers were just like, let's go.
It was pretty interesting days on market. Well, now that we're in January, days on market is 24. If you're looking at back during the springtime, I mean, we're looking at less than 5 days sometimes.
Yeah,
Which is super quick.
So we're
So
finding that in this market that if it's on for that first weekend, desirable house, desirable town, it's usually multiple offers go on that first weekend. If it's hovering around 7 to 14 days, okay, obviously not multiple offers, but maybe you can grab it around the asking price. And if it's beyond that 2 weeks, that 2 weeks to a month, well, maybe there's a little bit of room for negotiation. That seems to be the market that we're in right now. Are you guys still seeing people waiving inspections?
Yeah, I've been trying to avoid it as much as possible.
Of course, yeah.
So I just got something under contract in Manchester, and we did inspections for informational purposes only, no escape clause unless for structural or sewer line related. This was a sewer, the property was set way back and it was an older house, and I was like, listen, this is a very long sewer line. So let's just get that inspected. Everything was fine, but we did do the inspection, and
so you added in there about the sewer line,
Yeah.
and that didn't scare off the seller.
no.
You got the deal done.
Yeah.
You secured it. Nice.
I have noticed with the properties we're submitting offers on is you can either waive the home inspection and get the property at a little bit lower of a price potentially, or the opposite, getting the home inspection, securing the property at a little bit of a higher price, of course, case by case scenario. But I've been seeing that as well. And we listen, as an agent, we don't want our clients to waive the home inspection.
We try to avoid it as much as
Right.
possible.
But for the right house in the right town, as long as the buyers really
with the right advice.
Sure. As long as they really want the property.
We try to avoid it as much as
Yeah.
possible. Right?
Statistically speaking, a lot of buyers are still waiting.
Especially septics. We really try not to waive those.
Sure.
I got one done in Glastonbury. The only thing we did was septic. So it's like just want to know how the septic
Yeah.
system is.
And we are also able to save our clients by making our terms like what you had mentioned,
Wording it.
Hey,
Yeah.
anything greater than $5,000, $7,000
Yeah,
of a
repairs.
repair, hey, we can get out and still get our deposit
Sure.
back. So we're really protecting the client, and ultimately, it's our buyer's decision to decide whether they're going to waive or not. We're just here to educate them as much as possible.
Yeah.
If we're adding in an escape clause, structural speaks for itself, right? Foundation, sill plate, main support beams.
What about a
have
roof?
you. Definitely not a roof, Dan. You learned the hard way. Does not include a leaky roof.
I have asked around, and a roof is considered a structure. Is considered part
A
of the
leaky
structure.
roof is not structural. If it's
Certainly
but if a
is.
leaky roof has affected your roof rafters and there's some rot, then I would claim it was structural. But anyways,
No way.
what I wanted to say was that the other part of it, environmental, covers a multitude of things, right? It could be septic, like you're talking about. It could be an underground oil tank. It
Yeah.
could be high radon. So when you're saying environmental, it does give the buyer a little bit more
Although
protection.
radon, it's like even if there was high radon, that's not going to cost $5,000. It's a $2,000 repair.
Nope, you're right. Under 2,000, but still falls under
when
environmental.
we say environmental, I get a little like, well, what's environmental? We're really looking for an in-ground oil tank or.
Well, as a buyer, you want that to be as broad as possible, so
Sure.
it gives you more
Well, of
options to
course.
get out. But as a
Yeah.
seller, you want that to be as specific as possible.
Correct.
So this way, it covers your.
So
rear
what are you finding, for the last few years, we were seeing escalation clauses 1,000 over asking, and then we started seeing 2,500 over the highest offer, and you're like, oh wow, they really want the house. Now we're starting to see sometimes 5,000. I just had a buyer do 20,000 over the highest offer.
That's insane.
Yeah, 57.
He's the guy that ruins it for everyone.
Hey, the buyers really wanted the
Eric
house.
is driving this market.
I think
No, they-
and the way to look at this as a viewer, right? When you're submitting an offer, you're trying to hit it at all different angles, whether it's the home inspection, whether it's an escalation clause, whether it's mortgage contingency. So we're trying to hit it at all angles so they can secure the property. Now, someone putting an escalation clause of 20,000 over,
100 grand over
I
and
think that's
20
it.
grand over. But they needed it because the highest offer ended up being a certain number that it ended up going 15 grand over. So they needed every bit of that $20,000.
Wow.
We're seeing that creep up a little bit.
Again, case by case scenario, not all houses.
And
are
again,
like that.
if I'm representing a seller, depends who you're representing, I don't allow, love letters are supposedly illegal now, but I don't allow escalation clauses because, we want that sort of, Dan loves this term, pie in the sky offer to come in without just
you wanted to say it so bad.
without just those incremental raises, right? We want a nice big offer for representing the seller. But as a buyer, I think it protects the buyer from just throwing money out
Are we
the
seeing
window.
a lot of buyers waive mortgage contingency?
Yeah, last few offers with strong buyers, 20% down, conventional financing typically.
Super solid.
they're
It takes
wages.
a, it takes a specific buyer
yeah,
to do
not
that.
for everybody.
Sure.
They
But if
know
you-
that they're gonna have their job the next 45 days, next 60 days.
Yeah,
you
they're
know.
solid.
Yeah. But just know that you're not only, potentially, your deposit is at risk if you don't get financing, but you're also saying when you're waiving contingency, you're saying, well, it doesn't matter where the property appraises, right?
I'll make up the difference.
You're going to make up any difference. Yeah, we are seeing that. And also we're starting to see, I just got an offer in with no, I'm representing the seller, with no buyer commission asked for, right? So that's just another term in the contract now where this particular buyer is saying they're going to cover their own buyer agent's commission. So
yeah, a lot of that has to do with the market right now, right? That's just where we are currently right now in the market, where buyers have to go those extra few steps.
I like to say that's today's hype, right? That's like
sure
the trend right
we'll
now.
See what happens in the spring when we see a little bit more inventory. Things might loosen up just a little bit. But.
Yeah, I sort of put that in the same category. Again, depends on the strength of the market. But like if you're buying in West Hartford or you're buying in Glastonbury, Simsbury, sometimes you have to do that out of the box thinking like, oh, we're going to cover the seller's attorney's fees, a little something extra just to get the deal done.
I've yet to do that. Maybe
No.
I'm going to write that down for another trick in the book.
Take note. Since we were talking about how to structure offers, we used to give little bitty first deposits, $1,000 followed up by a second deposit. Now it seems most people are putting a nice strong first deposit to make it as attractive.
I think it makes a huge difference.
Right.
And if you present it to your client, your buyer, and explain it to them like, hey, you have two identical offers. One person's offering $1,000, the other person's offering you $10,000. Who looks more interested?
Sure.
Someone that's going to put more on the line.
Serious. Yeah.
And when you put it that way, then
it doesn't matter like that. When you're going up against a cash offer, if the cash offer is putting in a $10,000 first deposit, and then you've got another offer that's doing 20% down plus, waiving mortgage contingency, and they're putting down a $50,000 deposit, it's like that's a super attractive offer, right? So it's like on the same terms, bigger first deposit, cash or finance. You're gonna go with the finance if it has a significantly larger first deposit.
Yeah, cash doesn't get you discounts anymore, does it?
And you just want to make sure when you...
It still helps for sure, but it's not... Yeah, I don't think it's the end-all be-all anymore.
I don't think it's under asking. It's going to secure you.
No.
Under asking. You're still going.
I think it's very important when you're talking about deposits, whether you're talking about it with the seller or the buyer, that you kind of go over, where does that deposit go, right? And how does a deposit actually get released, right? Because, you've had some sellers that maybe you didn't have this conversation with, and the deal goes south, right? And they think they're entitled to that deposit right away, and they're saying, all right, hand it over. You're the listing agent. I want the deposit. The buyer defaulted, right? So I think it's important to at least cover that that's going into the listing agent's escrow account. And on a good transaction, with the attorney's authorization, it gets released, right? They're providing authorization for the listing agency, typically, to release that deposit. But if the deal goes south and somebody breaches the contract, it can only be released two other ways, right? One is a mutual rescission and release of the deposits. Both sides agree. Typically, that's when it goes to the attorneys to kind of hash it out and see who gets paid what. Or if it ends up in court, only by court order, a judge can order the release of that. But it's important to cover that, so if it ever does go south, there's no surprises.
Yeah. Unfortunately, going through that right now.
Really?
Yeah, I have a termination going on right now.
Oh yeah. Well, we won't name the
No, we won't. But I'll say the scenario: the buyer's inability to obtain a mortgage and lack of communication. So we have no idea what happened to this buyer, where this buyer is.
Buyer just skipped town.
Really?
The lender can barely get any documents.
What's the deposit?
From them. It's not strong. It's not the strongest.
Oh.
But something's better than nothing.
Small claims.
But hopefully the buyer can come to an agreement. Not many buyers want to release their deposit, obviously, to the seller, but we have provided what the damages have been, 60 days past closing.
So let me ask you guys this. Since we're seeing so many highest and best dates, right? Are you suggesting to your sellers that, we're doing it right after the first weekend if we have multiple offers? Or do you think it's beneficial to the seller to actually extend it a few days, maybe a week?
So I'm putting a new listing on the market next week, and instead of doing the typical put it on the market Thursday or Friday, 2 open houses Saturday, Sunday, I'm putting it on the market Monday. Giving it the whole week to kind of let people come in, let them see the house, and then through the weekend, 2 open houses on the weekend, and let's see what happens.
And I like that. I like that approach.
Yeah, I mean, I just think that
statistically, your days on market is longer,
we're
but
seeing
you're getting
offers.
way
we're
more
seeing offers
eyes.
come in after a few days of being on the market still.
Yeah.
Like people are kind of like delaying a little bit. Some people think that, oh, well, I don't want to be the first offer in, I want to be the last.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
Well, I don't understand that logic at all. It's like, why
Sure.
would you want to be
Well, a
the
lot of buyer agents hold off on their offers, waiting for that highest
know,
and
but
best date.
I'm not what's
Because
the
I
logic
think
there?
I
don't
think
get
some
that.
buyer agents think, well, if I put in this offer, maybe they're going to disclose what the offer is to somebody else.
But my thing is, people ask me all the time, should we be the first offer? And yeah, I think we should be the first offer because this is what's going to happen. We're going to go in now. Once our offer is in, I'm going to communicate with the listing agent from now until it goes under contract. I'm going to try to get on their good side,
Sure.
try to get as much info out of them as I can, so that we can restructure our offer. If I put our offer in the last second, how much time do I have to talk to this agent?
Yeah.
They're busy as hell
Yeah, I
trying
love
to
that.
work out all these offers.
And
They're
they're
not
already
going to have time for me.
And
Right,
the listing agent's
right.
already stressed out, and now you're gonna add
Yeah,
more
you
stress.
can
at
add
that
more
time.
stress, and I was like, let's just get in, let's get our foot in the door and talk to the agent. As much
All right,
as we can.
I
I
got
like
one
the
for you.
approach of listing it on a Monday. I've always liked that.
Setting a deadline, good or bad for your buyer?
Setting a deadline.
Setting a deadline
Bad.
for a seller to accept an offer in this market,
Hey,
good or bad?
you have 24 hours to accept our offer, or we're withdrawing our offer.
Yeah.
I don't like that.
So here's what I'm telling my buyers. If you have a very strong cash offer, okay, let's try it, right? Because even cash is not giving you discount.
Very strong.
Right.
Yeah, it's
Right.
gotta be like very strong.
Yeah.
It's like these guys. You're almost thinking to yourself like they would be foolish to not take this offer.
Right,
Yeah.
right. But even because there's so many strong 20% down
That's
or
the thing,
greater
yeah.
conventional buyers out there, that setting that deadline, it's like get in line,
It's-
right?
Yeah.
How about-
you're kind of rubbing the listing agent and the seller the wrong way, like right. off the
Right.
bat.
So
And
yeah.
from a seller's psychology, well, if I just got this offer and we have 10 more showings, 15 more showings, what are the chances one of those offers
It's a-
can match
A
that?
very good chance.
Yeah.
Right.
It's like, oh, we already got this off the bat. Why not just wait a
Yeah,
little bit
exactly.
more? Maybe we get more.
And I like your idea, longer showing time, possibly, extending longer than just the first weekend for setting a highest and best date, because how many times have we signed or the seller signed on a dotted line and then that great cash offer
Well,
comes
look,
through the door,
let's be
right?
real. There's no options for these buyers. Once they make an offer, you know what they're looking for. That's what they want. What other options are there? Either they stick it out a few more days
Right,
and see
right,
what
right.
happens, or they
Yeah.
pull their offer and they get nothing.
That's a great point. There's no seller worry just a few more days that they're going to lose someone, right?
No,
Most
they're not
people are
going to
hanging
go buy
in
the
there.
house next door. It's,
Again, unless it's that fantastic cash offer with a
yeah,
deadline.
right.
Definitely limited inventory. Today's topics were great.
And make sure
Go get
to visit burgiosousa.com for all of your real estate needs. There's also a really good home valuation link on that website, so check it out, burgiosousa.com. We'll put the link in the video.
Buyers and sellers, reach out. Landlords, reach out as well if you're looking to secure some tenants in your rental
Spring
properties.
market starts now.
Let's go.
Good luck,
Burgio
everybody.
Sousa Team. Call us.
See ya.